Keep his name on the streets till you lay in the dirt.
Like, look, I got this bulletproof vest with this Death Row logo on the back coming to get at you. And you put that on and keep on smiling, keep on pushing, and keeping it gangster.
Unstoppable, untouchable, the worldwide bomb figures. Death Row at its finest, M.O.B.
Only Gab can do it like this. Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab, I'm in the building. And this is MAKAVELI Media. Let me give a shout out to my homegirl, Sharita tonight. Shout outs to you, big sis. Because while I was doing this video right here, I was thinking about the couple conversations I had with you pertaining to Suge Knight's feelings for Tupac. And everybody talks about this, and it's always one-sided. But I want to take a look at the other side. But the one thing everybody always seems to talk about is, you know, how in awe Suge Knight was of Tupac. You know, you hear about Suge Knight being in awe with Tupac's work ethic. Nobody stayed in the studio like Tupac. Or Suge Knight was just, his mind was blown at the star power or star magnitude that Tupac had. You know, he was the biggest star in the world when he got to Death Row. You look at his intelligence when he do interviews. Suge was just completely, you know, taken back at what he was able to obtain through Tupac. And then, you know, Tupac made everybody else expendable in Suge's eyes at Death Row. From Snoop to the Dog Pound to even Dr. Dre. You know, Tupac was the apple of Suge Knight's eye. And, you know, Suge was ecstatic to have Tupac on Death Row. But that's just one-sided, though. Because equally, I believe that, yes, Tupac was very, very, very impressed with Suge Knight. For several reasons. You know, a lot of people say Tupac didn't know the business side of entertainment. Tupac's struggles came from the business side. Bad contracts, bad dealings. Suge Knight was a dominant force in a black entertainment but white male-driven industry. You know, Suge didn't compromise. He didn't come in there talking like Carlton Banks. You know, he came in there like a dude from Compton. He didn't come in there not trying to ruffle any feathers. He didn't try to fit in. Suge came in the industry and kicked the doors in. He did exactly what he wanted to do. He did street business practice. He wasn't trying to sue people. 9 times out of 10, he was the one being sued. So Suge brought a certain persona and physicality to the music industry that hadn't been seen since the Prohibition bootleg whiskey days. You know, he brought a lot of the, you know, the old school OG mob era tactics to the music industry. And I think that kind of impressed Tupac because, you know, one of the things that Suge had outside of, you know, business savvy, Suge had an army behind him. You know, you hear people from the streets of Compton that was so grateful to Suge. People say Suge gave them their first job, a real opportunity at the American dream. Suge took convicts and, you know, and former gangbangers and made them gainfully employed. So a lot of people was loyal to Suge Knight and they looked up to Suge Knight and they did whatever Suge saw fit. That's where the name Simon comes from. Simon Says, because whatever Suge said, people would do. So I think Tupac loved the fact that Suge had a whole army behind him. And, you know, and it was at his disposal. And you got to also look at the fact that Tupac was very interested in gang culture. You could go back and listen to the phone conversation between Tupac Shakur and Monster Cody, where Tupac was telling Monster Cody that he wanted to learn more about the gang aspect because he liked the unification of black neighborhoods. And I think Tupac wanted to implement not only his thug life rules, but, that Black Panther militant mentality into these guys and, politicize these gangbangers and former convicts. And through Death Row, I believe that Tupac knew he could accomplish these things if he could find the delicate balance in between street and revolutionary. That was the line that Tupac walked. And one of the other things I like to talk about why I had this opportunity doing this particular video is that, when Suge Knight sat down with Tupac while Tupac was still in prison, Tupac explained to Suge Knight exactly what was going on in his life as far as beef, as far as enemies, as far as his hopes, his dreams, all of these things. And the first thing Suge knew he was doing when he signed Tupac to Death Row, he knew that he was inheriting all of Tupac's beefs. Straight up. I'm privileged to some information that I won't go into in this video, but let's just say Suge handled all of Tupac's beefs. Every single one of them. He had a list of people that, had did him wrong, and, Suge was the problem solver. So now you got Tupac in a situation where he longed for a long time. You always hear Tupac talking about his closest clique. That's what he wanted. He wanted a bunch of soldiers behind him. Guys that would, go all out at his command. And, when he got ambushed in New York City at Quad Studio, he felt like his soldiers wasn't up to par. So now, he got this big beef going on, guys taking shots at him, guys that already touched him. He's felt betrayed, he's felt humiliated. Now along comes Suge Knight, not only waving his freedom, not only waving, another chance at superstardom, the keys to the city, but he's also giving him protection by giving him his army. Now, that's a lot. That's a lot for a guy, like I said, that's sitting behind bars, that's got all these feelings and thoughts going through his head, and to meet such a powerful, impressionable individual had to be a lot. So Pac gets out with Suge, and, Suge is putting a battery in Tupac's back by letting him know, like, yo, you with me. The hell with these guys. And you already add that to a overly confident Tupac, a person that wasn't lacking confidence, a person that, that was fearless, that took pride in being fearless. And it was an explosive situation. It was gunpowder. It was a situation that, was bound to cause some type of situation, only because the elements in the music industry are very devious. It's a very dark industry with a lot of wicked people around, and then you got guys that dwell off of beef. You got guys that, see the commercial value and, and being controversial. So, like I said, you took Tupac, a general, and you give him an army that wasn't his army, but it became his army. He became part of everything that Suge Knight had going on. And, I believe it gave Tupac not only a false sense of security, but it made him feel invincible. I heard before that, even at, in Vegas, I heard, one of one of the guys from the other side told Suge, man, you got Tupac walking around here like he untouchable. And Suge told the guy he is untouchable. You know, a few of y'all might even heard Death Row say that on record. Or Tupac said it on record. The untouchable Death Row. Death Row untouchable. That's how they was feeling. You know, Suge had finally had the artist that he wanted. And, you know, Tupac had the Gladiator in his back pocket. You know, if you look at the situation, too, from, you know, Tupac's childhood, you know, not knowing who his dad was coming up as a kid and having Matula in his life and then snatched out of his life so early. Tupac told you himself he was always searching for a father figure. Now, Suge wasn't old enough to be his father figure, but, you know, he definitely took the role as a protector, a guardian, you know, some stability. He became like the big brother that Suge refers to himself as. He said, I'm Tupac's big brother, Tupac my little brother. You hear Suge say that quite often. But it just makes me wonder, you know, if Tupac had landed anywhere else in the world other than Death Row, do you think he would have came out of prison and rode so hard the way he did? Would he have went as hard? Or would Pac have chose a different route? So did Suge Knight make Tupac feel invincible one way or the other? Or Tupac would have felt invincible anyway? After surviving them 5 shots. Tell me what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to share and like this video. Subscribe to the channel. This is MAKAVELI Media. I'm your homie Gab. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.